मैं स्पीकर के लिए चलूंगी फिर नहीं
I know you guys are pushing really much hygiene products in academic affairs. We want to push for that in student affairs. Yep. I want to get together with a meeting with the 4 of us pushing and be able to really talk about coding because I know that you guys have talked about talk to specific departments about things. Me and Audrey are going to do a sample where we're going to deposit some free tampons in several different bathroom areas to see if there's demand for it. So I just want to have an opportunity to get together and kind of talk about things and coordinate.
Like the water
When do you guys have a lot of availability?
tended to be some like
next Tuesday
Shoot me an email. Send it to Audrey, CC Shayla.
Okay.
Have Shayla
Let's just, you can email everyone, just send it to everyone, the CC.
Yeah.
I think it's
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I like the body train.
Hello. Oh, I like the outfit.
oh, that was
Nice.
like, a little fun things, right?
कितने सारे हैं वो
Today, Brianna, we can save you another day.
But the key code
Then I had a lot of and Saturday night I went to Burns Manage. I came here I had my items. I had shoes for the 7 years. I was
Louis Vuitton.
I was wrapped
They're actually still all my 22.
I think that your brain more. I think my brain more. It is not. See soon.
Alright, everybody, I want you all to take your seats. We're gonna get started here.
They're giving out free. Oh really? You should have bought some for me. You should have texted me. I was in the meeting. In the meeting. So you texted me. Let's go up for a meeting. But free about the thought and like no.
Like across, like the actual Chipotle. You think it's still broken?
It is. It was like if it's so broken, why would they give it for free? I can check. One of my friends works there. Yeah. Their machine is now working. They were just since that's not in
वैकेंसी भी है कौन
I got this for some.
जो छोटी है वो लड़की छोटे रखो वाली ना मैं बोल रही हूँ
It's free right now.
रहता ही ये रहना ही है
By the way, I just like the blue, so I don't have to we're talking.
Oh, yeah.
There's no really, I mean, there's no
connection with the blue.
went there, and I actually went to the one. I say
मुझे ये फॉलो करने का
I was like, yeah, I hope it's
तुम्हारे पास लेके दो जैसे मैं
Yeah. No, I love Duluth. It's so pretty.
and after that, I'm straight up. You said, you know,
Yeah. My best friend coaches
starting at 9.
It's a good score. No, I don't. I think it's pretty, but I don't. It's kind of like
One. Each semester make.
my friend likes
It's less than fucked up. Let me help you. But I would say them not this time.
I don't understand. Like, my math. I was gonna say something, but I figured you would. I just don't know where it was.
Poster looks great on camera.
ये सबके लिए नहीं है मैंने लिस्ट की बोला दो बार
Oh, I know to go. We've been so
I'll get a Zoom issue, so just give me 2 more minutes.
no, we've been so busy. Finals coming up. Maybe spring semester. Yeah.
When I went on stage I blanked out ये टाइप सेमेस्टर पहले मैंने बोला वहाँ पे तो बहुत अच्छा चला यहाँ पे जब इतना पूछा जब मैंने देखा मुझे
If you have to think about it, you probably don't know it. It's this Friday. What's the theme for? Fire night.
Fire and ice.
You sure it's not? It's fire night. It's fire night.
That is something I'll keep in mind.
What costume you gonna wear for it? Let's go. I'm not gonna be at the party.
Gagging function I'll just
Bro. I have plans.
वो like level की तरह होगा like so that gagging listen up so that they get one और कौन वहाँ पे खड़े होकर
No, I would never have skipped the party. It was not.
instead of like I leave it. Yep.
You need a different kind of fire.
All right, we are gonna get started with our meeting. So I call this meeting into order at 4:09 p.m. First order of business, roll call. Senator Swankut, Senator Swankut, Senator Basnet, Senator Hashimoto, Senator Chimizi, Senator Carlson, here. Senator Roberts, here. Senator Andy Demby, here. Senator T. Schaefer,
Here.
Senator Hawk,
Here.
Senator Basha, Senator Basha, Senator Hansen,
Here.
Senator Paruchuri,
Here.
Senator Osman,
Here.
Senator Saha,
Here.
Senator Rajagopal,
Here.
Senator Koku, Senator Kruger, Senator Wynn,
Yeah.
Senator Uzefa,
Here.
Senator Wing, Senator Wing,
Here.
Senator Pina. Senator Nowak.
Howdy.
Senator Flynn.
Here?
Senator Hopwood. Senator Hopwood. Senator Hussain. Here. Senator Roiger. Senator Roiger. President Stiff. Here. Vice President Somerso. Here. Speaker Khan. Here. All right. First order of business, presentations. I do not have anyone in presentations. Next order of business, open forum. Do I have anyone for open forum? Scott?
Good afternoon, everyone. Scott Nelson, Assistant AD for Marketing, Promotions, Community Engagement in MSU Athletics. Just want to take a moment to thank everybody that came out to the hockey game last Friday night. Our Student Athlete Advisory Committee hosted the student government. We had 10 of you up in the athletics suite. It was a great time, I believe, had by all. I know our Student Athlete Advisory Committee really enjoyed the conversation and the opportunity just to get together and have some fellowship and chat during that game. So I really appreciate you guys making the time to come out. Looking forward to our events in the second semester. I know we're going to get together for a basketball game and a women's hockey game as well. So thanks for making the time to come out and support the athletics. Really appreciate all you guys have done for athletics in the past and doing this year. And talking with Vice President Sverso at the game, she asked me if I'd be willing to come talk. We launched a new app in the athletic department this year for your mobile device. Just search MSU Athletics, MSU Athletics on your app store, and then it'll give you all the up-to-date information on Maverick Athletics. So if anybody's looking for a great way to stay in touch with the sports teams as it's going on, that's one way to do it. But thanks for coming out. Appreciate all you guys have been doing for us, all you guys continue to do for us, and the relationship that we've really started to form this year. So any questions about athletics for me?
Vice President Somerso?
So Seth, could you tell us a little bit about the points and how that relates in the app for attending?
You bet. So inside the app, there's fan reward points. Each game has a designated amount of points that a fan, whether it be a student, a season ticket holder, just a random fan that comes into the game, can accumulate. Those points are set to go off in terms of being made available to the public at a predetermined time, so it's not like you can just show up, get points, and leave. But as you gather points within that in the reward system, you're eligible for different prizes within the athletic department, whether it be a coupon at a local restaurant or a custom bobblehead if you get to a certain amount of points. So it's a great way to keep our fans engaged and reward them for coming to our events.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have any other questions?
Thank you much.
Further questions? Thank you. Can I request our distributions to let me in? All right. Thank you. Do I have anyone else for open forum? Was that Christy?
Hello, everyone. How are you today?
Good.
Good. I'm happy to be here. My name is Christy Bacallier, and I'm from the Campus Computer Store, which is actually located right downstairs in this building. And today I'm just here to talk to you about a few things, some new initiatives that we have going on in the store. Before I do that really quick, though, I'd like to just share a little bit about the store, just in case you don't know, you haven't been down to see us or aren't aware of our store. So the Campus Computer Store is a self-funded retail tech store that's located downstairs on the lower level across from IT Solutions Center. And our job is to help faculty, students, staff, and emeritus of Minnesota State University Mankato find the technology that they need in order to be successful with whatever it is that they want to do. We take that mission very seriously, that we are here to serve our students and community members on campus, and we're happy that we get to do that year in and year out. So we have a whole sort of products. We have laptops, tablets, accessories, things like that. And we're always looking for some new things to offer in our store. So there's two things I want to talk to you about today, two new initiatives. One of them is to get, was that me? Okay, sorry. One of them is to get in some new products or just new services that our students on campus are looking for. We would love to have additional feedback or conversation with any of our students to tell us what they need from us to provide a better level of service and support for them while they're here. We understand that being a student today is very challenging. And actually, I'm a student myself. I'm a grad student. And so I'd like to, first of all, invite you all to provide us with whatever feedback you'd like to provide us with today. But I wanted to let you know that we're building new customer feedback methods into our marketing plan and our website and everything like that, so we can collect information. Hopefully we'll have some fun tabling days in the CSU where we'll give away some prizes in exchange for opinions, things like that. And then number 2 is we're creating some new positions for students. So I just want to get, if I could share on Zoom, give me just 1 second. So we already have a lot of student employees. We have student sales specialists, we have people in our repair center, and many students, and that's one of my favorite parts of the job. However, we recently realized that we need some more. And these particular students that we're looking for are more of a specialist type of role. All right, so you guys can see this. I wanted to do a little bit of sharing of previous success stories and kind of give you some qualification information for why we are a good resource to provide some of this learning on campus. This is Kayla. Kayla was our first marketing intern. She graduated from the store in 2015. I should say first under me, because I've been here since 2014. There probably were more before her. Kayla is now a senior marketing project manager of loyalty and circle at Target. And so a lot of the things that she did at the store for us directly impacted her ability to get into those positions. Asha just graduated in May of last year. I'm really proud of her because she came a long way. She was with me for a long time, so I got to know her super well. She just called me last week. She's gotten a position with a company called Live Person. So you guys know how we have the Stomper chatbot now? Live Person is the same type of company. They just do it for retail, right? So it's AI chatbot. She got a position as a sales consultant and engineer at Live Person. So again, her experience at the campus computer store helped her to achieve some of her dreams. And so we're right now in the process of writing position descriptions for new marketing intern with a specialist, special focus on creating social media for TikTok and Instagram. And then the second one is an e-commerce website specialist. So if you know of anybody that has great desire to be impactful and help our store, please send them my way. And if you have any questions or want to give us any feedback, I'd love to hear it.
Thank you. Do I have any questions? Any questions? Any questions? I'm going to quickly check over still. Looks like we do not have any questions. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Do I have anyone else for open forum? Emma.
Well, hi friends, my name is Emma and I am the state chair of Students United. I've been around a lot. So today is the last day to register for Advocacy Conference, which takes place on Saturday. So you can find it on our website, studentsunited.org/advocacy conference. And then you are able to register. We have 4 great speakers. We have Representative Heather Keeler. We have a Boundaries Water speaker on environmental advocacy. We have a labor organizer as well as another speaker, which is also an organizer who is well known in Minneapolis. So please join us. For every speaker event that you attend, you get entered in a raffle. So each one you get another name in the raffle for a $50 Visa gift card, as well as different prizes and packages. It's all on Zoom on Saturday, and then it ends with delegates where you're able to come, say your piece, share with the board what your wants and needs are, and then the board will then take stances on those on Sunday. So make sure you register and join. I'll be here till the end if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have anyone else for open? I'm sorry. Do I have any questions for Emma, first of all? Any questions? Any questions? All right, moving on. Do I have anyone else for open forum? Anyone for open forum? Anyone for open forum? All right, moving on to our next item on the agenda, approval of consent agenda. Do I have any dissent on the approval of consent agenda? Any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing as no dissent, the consent agenda is approved. Moving on to officer reports, I'm going to get started with President Steph.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Senate. Just to echo what State Chair said, make sure that you register for the advocacy conference, and if you do, just let me know. It will be great to see everyone there. And again, delegates is the committee where you get to kind of voice what you want as a student and maybe stances you'd like us as a board of directors to take, so I'd be happy to hear some input from all of you. Next, as you can see from the approval of the consent agenda, 4 senators have been appointed to the Housing Resolution Task Force. That comes from the resolution we passed like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, about establishing a new website for universities. So thank you to those 4 senators who signed up, and you are now appointed to that committee. We are looking to convene the committee within the next, I think, after Thanksgiving break. So that week between Thanksgiving break and then finals is when we look to finally get the committee up and started. Next, there's a lot of opportunities for internships right now, so I've gotten tons of emails, I know you all have too. If you're looking to do an internship for next spring, now would be the time to get on that and look and see what you need to do for that. For our senators who are graduating either this semester or next semester, you will be receiving graduation cords from student government. So that's if you serve a full term, you get to get your graduation cords from here. And we'd definitely like to honor our senators who have serviced the university and serviced student government. So just keep that in mind. If you're here for a couple weeks though, I'm sorry, you will not get graduation cords, but otherwise you will. Other than that, I just wanted to say I hope everyone has a great fall break. This is one of our last few meetings of the semester, and so we'll come back, reconvene in January. So thank you everyone for all you've done so far for student government, and I look forward to seeing what all of you can get done next.
Awesome. Do I have any questions for President Stiff? Senator Hawk?
When is our next meeting again, though?
We'll talk about that.
I think, yeah, Speaker Connell gets that.
Okay.
Senator Flynn?
For those graduating next semester, if they became a senator partway through this semester, will they get cords?
Yeah, so if you just serve to the end of a term, I think that is a requirement.
Yes. Any further questions? Any further questions? Any questions? Moving on to Vice President Somerso.
Awesome. Hi guys. So I have a few things. Scott kind of covered the hockey games, but that was a really awesome success. And it was really great to get out there and kind of get to know student athletics a little bit better. So that was awesome. The next thing, does anyone remember, did I talk about the social work presentation last week? No? Okay, perfect. So as you know, we're moving forward with our Maverick Wellness Center, which is our one-stop shop approach to student basic needs. As we think about Maverick Wellness and we're thinking about this holistic model of serving the student and addressing all the needs at once, obviously that aligns pretty well with the mission of social work and with our program here. And so last week we had the opportunity to go present our proposal that we've created and answer any questions and ask them not to serve as social workers in the center, but rather to be there in kind of like a support model and kind of instruct and help guide the direction of it. But also, we do think there'd be a natural fit there for internships and practicums for social work students. So we're really excited. They seem super optimistic about it, so we're looking forward to their feedback. The next thing having to do with Maverick Wellness is next we will be presenting to student basic needs. And then once we get their sign off, we'll be creating a resolution and bringing it here. So it's really exciting. We're really getting that ball rolling, and we can't wait to show you what we have worked on. Okay, next. I thought our room was lacking a little bit of decoration, so I've added a sign here today. Thought it would spice it up a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about why we have this here and why I'm coming to you, Senate, now to talk about this. So it has been an ongoing concern throughout the year, not just from our organization, but from other organizations, student ambassadors, student events teams, and some others that we're in talks with right now, about the level of work that is put on student leaders with that is largely unpaid or paid far below minimum wage without any sort of institutional support. So no parking passes, no tuition support, no excused absences from class. Very rarely do they have full-time advisors who are there to support students in that way the whole time. And often for these groups, they don't have a formal meeting space, so a place where they can come together and keep their stuff stored and feel like they have space to spread out and do their work. And in return, we know that the university is dependent on these services in order to make sure that we're functioning and recruiting and retaining students. If student ambassadors doesn't show up, we're going to need to hire a lot more staffers at Office of Admissions. If student events team doesn't do their work, we're going to need a lot more PR people to work to connect the university to the community and to students itself. Student government doesn't do our work. We struggle to find students to serve on these necessary committees that they need student representation on and that our voices need to be represented. So what we're asking for is support institutionally, and later we will be coming back and I am going around and encouraging these different organizations to reconsider what they are asking for in terms of compensation in their budgets that they will then be bringing to SAC. It is not acceptable for students to be working this many hours and be making $178 an hour, nor $538, nor any of that. If we ask students to do this work for no volunteer hours, we need to compensate them with a livable wage. Because the line's pretty clear between the outrageous amount of food insecurity we have on this campus and the wages that students are making and the hours they're working. We're here because we care, but we also care to pay our rent and be able to be successful in our classes. So, we talked about this at Cabinet last week. We talked about this with Meet and Confer. I will say I'm disappointed by the response that we received from Cabinet. There wasn't a lot of an immediate draw to action. We have been in conversations with Dr. Jones about what some of that support looks like, and we have been asked by the president to create a proposal in terms of what sort of institutional support we are looking for. So we will be doing those things, but I would encourage you to talk to some of those super involved organizations you may be a part of or adjacent to, like RHA, like the OPAs, like ISA, like all of these organizations that don't serve just a recreational purpose, but serve a function necessary to the university. So that's my thoughts on that. Please feel free to reach out and we can continue this conversation and get more specific about what kind of help we're looking for. But that is what we're talking about with student compensation. With that, those are my remarks.
Awesome. Do I have Senator Carlson?
So I'm assuming with a part of this, that would mean that we as senators would get paid as well?
That's certainly something we can talk about. In the past, senators made a $200 stipend for the year, and in the past they removed that stipend because they thought it wasn't significant enough to students, and there may be some truth to that. So we have to consider then, maybe can we reframe student government to either count as service hours that you can put on a resume, or academic credit, or can we raise the stipends to recognize the necessary work that we're doing, right? Senator Hoff.
So if you're going to be thinking about academic credits, how is that going to be? Because I don't think all professors would be willing to do it, because some professors don't even have extra credit in their own classes.
Not through individual professors, but as a student leadership credit or something like that. That's something that previous Vice President Moltari worked on, and that kind of stopped when she left. But it's just kind of prompting that conversation about how are we compensating students for this necessary labor.
It could be a part of one of the goal areas.
Yeah.
Senator Carlson.
Sorry, where's the problem?
Sorry, I actually didn't know that senators were even paid before, so I guess that was something I just didn't know. But what was the reasoning for, or stipend I should say, what was the reasoning for taking that away then?
What I've heard, again, that was before my time. Okay. What I've heard is that to some senators it didn't seem consequential enough as a reason. It didn't seem like it was really compensation or a huge motivating factor, and so they wanted to spend their money in other places. But as the pandemic's gone on and food insecurity has got worse, I think that we do need to consider what that looks like for us going forward.
Can I yield to Emma, who has been in Senate around that time, and I think she would be a good person to answer that.
Yeah, my freshman. Oh, sorry, thank you. My freshman year, when I was the residential life senator, that was the year that those stipends were cut. And the reason behind that decision and the conversations that were had at that table was that the stipend, what was it, John? Was it $300? $200 for the year. So you got $100 for each semester. Think about the hours you do, right? You do 6 office hours, then you do committees, and you also come here. So the conversations around that table at the time that advised that decision was that a $100 a semester stipend wasn't going to alleviate the burden on students who had to work to compensate their time, right? If you were a part of student government, a $100 a semester amount that was paid to you was not going to be able to allow you to be on student government and use your time. So like food insecure students would need to be working, or like student parents would need to be working instead of being able to attend these meetings, and $100 wasn't enough to warrant or to make that difference. But it was, but there also wasn't enough money, and the student government at the time did not want to raise the student fee amount, because that's built into your student fee budget that you'll be discussing next semester. There wasn't enough, they didn't want to raise it to an amount that would be able to pay senators for the amount of time that they spend on those things. So that was the conversations around the table. John, you can correct me if I misrepresented anything. I don't remember the vote total on that, but that was the conversation that was had on the stipends. Thank you.
So Emma brings up a really great point about equity and access then at that point, because from our experience we see that the same group of maybe like 100 students are pulled to constantly do more and do this and take on this and take on that, because they're the students that are already involved, and we're blocking out low-income students, students who are trying to pay off their loans and financial aid and all of that from being able to participate in these opportunities because they're not compensated, or even to serve on a committee because they're not compensated.
All right, do I have any last questions? Senator Hashimoto.
I just wonder how you're going to differentiate the student compensation from student employment, because it almost sounds like the work hours that the student leader put and they're going to get paid for that. Like, how we going to, like, you know, make a difference between compensation and employment on campus?
Yeah, that's a good question. So what we're talking about here specifically is institutional support. So the university stepping in and supporting student leaders in those different ways I mentioned. In terms of payment, that's something that largely we have to look at within our own budget this year that SAC will have to approach, and how we want to move forward with compensating student leaders that fall under the scope of SAC. But to answer your question, some student leaders, not all, receive stipends, not hourly wages. So that's what kind of differentiates them from, I mean, we're all kind of student employees, but from your more typical student employee.
Any further questions? Any questions? Any questions? All right, moving on to our last officer report of the day, which is my report. There is no meeting next week. So next week is Thanksgiving break. We are not having a Senate meeting. We're not going to have any committee meetings. And best of all, we're not going to have any office hours. So you don't have to do any office hours for next week. All I want you to do is go have fun, enjoy Thanksgiving, pray for my exams, and that's about it. Yes, I have 5 senator reports for today, and I have emailed the senators who are reporting today of like the protocol for that. But moving on, we're I think probably down to only 2 meetings left for the rest of the semester. So I'm going to try to just divide all the reports that we're left with into these 2 days. And then last thing on my agenda, before I do that, do I have any questions? Senator Carlson.
I'm assuming this means then like personal meetings we have with you guys are canceled as well for next week?
For next
week? Or bi-weekly meetings with you?
Unless we say otherwise, I would assume they're canceled. But if Kara or Rihanna, not me, decide to be generous, then they can meet.
Oh no, I'm not being able to do
All right. Do I have any other questions? Any questions? Hold on, let me check on Zoom. We have a comment. Happy break, student leaders. Thank you. All right. Last thing on my report is Dean of the Day. I have Dean Corley here. Would you please like to come and stand? Thank you.
Thank you for having me here today. I just want to thank you for all your work this semester. I think the last few minutes of discussion is particularly enlightening, and so I'm really glad I was able to hear that. And we recognize that it's been a pretty challenging year for everyone. Particularly, I know you guys have worked really hard, even to get people to serve on, student government, for example, or on individual committees. And Rihanna's, let me know a few weeks ago that we have a couple of people to serve on the library and bookstore committee, so we're pretty excited at least getting one meeting together before the end of the semester. As for the library, we have most of our pre-pandemic services back online. Our reference desk is fully staffed, as I'm sure you've noticed. Our Education Resource Center is open again. The anatomy room is fully operational. Math pass sessions are going strong throughout the library. We continue to advocate for textbook affordability measures, and we have a team of people working hard on that. And that's largely due to your advocacy as well. I'm continuing to lead the buildings and landmarks work that many of you heard about last year. We do need a student to serve on that committee. We did pay the student last year to serve on that committee. So if you have interest in participating, we definitely would love to have you there, particularly from a minoritized group view. I think that's really what we're looking for on that group. As the committee will hear, we've got some pretty interesting physical building projects going on. This year, some of you know, we're bringing back the music collection to the main library, and we're redoing the music and maps areas on the east side of the first floor. We're continuing to develop the southwest corner that's just to the left of the circulation desk as you walk in. Some of you have noticed last year, it arrived over the summer, but we started to replace some of our outdated furniture, including new furniture, updated furniture in the southwest corner, the area to the left of the reference desk, and then the area in front of the fountain all have new furniture. All of the furniture is on wheels. All of it can be moved around and has been moved around by students to accommodate your study needs. All of our group study rooms are open. There's no limitation on how many people can be in the study rooms, for example. Hopefully, the Library Bookstore Committee can engage some of that work. I know we have vendors coming, and we're going to be particularly reaching out to you guys for feedback when the vendors come back with some of their models in January. Some of you know, I think already, that there's a suite of academic support services that have been placed under my management. It occurred this past summer. This includes the Center for Academic Success, the TRIO programs, our learning communities, our fellowships office, our undergraduate research center, and our honors program. And our leadership team is working now on a collaborative mission and vision work, and we're establishing a series of work groups that are focused on particular areas of opportunity for the spring. And I look forward to getting some student government input on some of the ideas that we'll be developing in the spring as well. So at this point, I'm available to answer any kind of questions that you have, or to bring back questions to the deans or to my own staff.
Awesome. I'm going to start with Senator Hashimoto.
Hi, thank you so much for coming today. And could you please clarify the name of the committee that you are looking for the member for?
This is called the Buildings and Landmarks Team. It's a committee that was developed in the summer of 2020 following the murder of George Floyd and the social protests, where the provost and the president asked us in particular to review the history of all of our building names, landmarks, and monuments. We have 3 areas of work right now that we're focused on. One is we're establishing or writing a recommendation to the president regarding the Lincoln statue in the Union and a type of exhibit, placement and exhibit that would be associated with that statue for the president's consideration. All of this would be brought to me and confer, obviously. The second is, and you will see this if you haven't already, you'll see it within the next couple of weeks, is we recognize that we really don't have a process at the university for advocating for study of names and naming at the university. Say if there was a concern of a particular student or student group about a building name, there isn't really no process at the university to figure out what to do after that. The second one is that there's really no process beyond working with donors, for example, on advocating for underrepresented populations to be represented in room names and building names and those types of things. And so we've drafted a policy to be considered this year for how that would work. And the third group of work that we're doing is focused on continuing research on the place names, basically, and room names. We did all the major buildings. We're now working through individual rooms that are named after people. And we're doing that. The archivists basically are putting together the research materials for that, and then a group is reviewing them together. So it's really those 3 branches of work right now that's occupying most of the time of the committee.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. President Smith?
Thank you for coming in and Corley. I'm excited to get this meeting up and started. So can you just explain a little bit more about what the committee's charge is and what we typically do in this committee for any new senators who aren't familiar?
And this is what I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, Library and Bookstore Committee.
The Library and Bookstore Committee, Andrew Trenny kind of drafted this with some advice from some of us in administration. And the goal of the committee is really, library and bookstore were, previous to this in student government, 2 different committees. And for years they had, students had challenges in student government in getting enough people on those committees. So from a practical purpose, President Trenny had decided to merge those committees into 2. One of the focuses of the committee is the textbooks, and particularly textbook affordability. And within textbook affordability, we think of it really in 3 legs of a stool. One is the Maverick textbook program that we sponsor here at the university that you guys support. Those are where textbooks are available to be loaned out at the circulation desk. The second leg of that stool is for advocacy for open education resources to be increasingly used in courses across the university. And the third is a more intensive use of library materials that already exist, and more purposeful work between the librarians and the disciplinary faculty to acquire materials that can be purposely used in their courses when possible. So that is a particular focus of the committee's work, is reviewing the progress there.
Thank you. Sandra Carlson?
Hi, I just wanted to say thank you, first of all, for all the work you do with MapPass, because I definitely needed it last year for some of my College of Business classes, so
great.
That was very nice to have, and it's a great program I think that we have to offer here for students. But My question for you actually is, we've been discussing in some of our committee meetings a lot actually about the Lincoln statue, and I guess I was just wondering where you were standing on it, since you said you were drafting something for the president.
Well, it's not me personally. I'm working through the committee. I can give you a perspective of myself as an historian, but the recommendation that we're drafting right now, we have a meeting tomorrow morning. The president has asked, basically we gave the president last year a recommendation, our first recommendation, and this was in meet and confer and everything. Mm-hmm. Our first recommendation was that the statue be relocated to the library. The statue was originally a gift of a class, I believe, from 1925 to the Lincoln Library in the old campus. So we'd like it to be recontextualized and brought to the library. The second recommendation is that regardless of where it is, in the Centennial Student Union or in the library, that the statue can't really sit there on its own without any explanation of the gift of Lincoln, of the complex history of Lincoln and our Native American populations, so that we use the statue to actually teach about Mankato as a place and about President Lincoln and the relationship to Mankato, rather than simply have a statue there. There is a contextual poster board right there next to the statue as well. We're advocating for something much larger than that.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks. Vice President Somerset?
Yeah, I also wanted to say thank you so much for all of the library services. The library and students, I think, have always had a really strong relationship together, and so really proud of that. But I just wanted to clarify, when you were talking about the naming of rooms and buildings, I'm just unaware, are they named solely after donors, or are there other processes to have a building or a room named after someone?
I don't have the process in front of me, okay. But basically, rooms, buildings, those types of things can be named in really two ways. One is that they're associated with a donor. A donor makes a large donation, has a particular passion for something related to the university. We see this in many, for example, in some of our athletics facilities, those types of things, but also in theater, where we've had donations that are associated with theater rooms and that kind of stuff. So that's probably the stereotypical main way we think about names. Historically at the university, names have often been provided in relationship to buildings or rooms in honor of someone who hasn't provided funds necessarily, but who has made a great impact on the university. And so you see that in Centennial Student Union, the various rooms, Morris Hall, Armstrong Hall, Prescott Hall. All of these are named for people who have made significant contributions. Potentially they had donations to the university in part because of their employment, and they regularly donate to the university, but the building wasn't named Morris Hall because of the donation of a faculty member, for example. So that's done in a kind of honorific way. All of those kinds of naming processes, whether it's related to a donation or whether it's related to an honor, that goes through quite an extensive process that's associated with state system policies and regulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have any last questions? Seeing as no further questions, thank you so much for coming in today, Dean Colby. Moving on to our next business item of the day, which is Senator reports. We're going to get started with Senator Reuter. And I believe she's not here today. So I'm going to move on to Senator Nowak. Thank you.
All right.
I have to move this up. Boy. There we go. All right. Hello everyone, or howdy. I've got a couple things to breeze through. I'm going to try to move through this fast because I know that we have a lot of senator reports. So, first and foremost, my project on LGBT housing. I've been in communications with Cindy Janey about that. She has told me that she is going to look into the possibility, but requires more time, especially during the season of going through budget. So in the meantime, that project is unfortunately stalling a little bit as I'm waiting for further communication from residential life. With other projects that I'm working on, me, Senator Flynn, Senator Huzaifa, and Senator Swancutt have been in communications with Dean Veltzos in regards to an offer that she extended to us to rework and look at the first year experience curriculum. We've looked at a couple of different changes that we want to potentially make there. Some major things that we want to do is that we want to bring back the focus on having a lot of projects and assignments in a class that is primarily supposed to be a de-stressor. We find that it is not as productive to have paper due every single week for a class that's a de-stressor. In addition to that, we also hope to provide opportunities to first year experience to allow them to get more involved in other campus activities and to potentially, as a stretch goal, if possible, try to see if it was at all possible to have President Inch make an appearance towards the end of the year to a large group of first year experience students, if that is something that is possible. We will be meeting with Dean Veltzos to discuss this idea further on November 22nd. That'll be the continuation of a chain of communications with her. Another thing is that myself, Senator Hopwood, Senator Hawk, and Senator Bassnett have all been working on a project to establish free feminine hygiene products in all of the bathrooms. That is something that I am very passionate about, hoping to continue. Me and Senator Hopwood talked about this in committee a little bit earlier. We have established a plan in which next week we're going to get our hands on some of the tampon and pad products that are used by the university and try leaving some deposits of those in bathrooms for free to see if there is enough of a demand for people to be looking into that. Another thing is that we want to look more into the funding of that because Senator Hopwood, as well as I believe one of you two, was told that the main issue was the funding as far as that is concerned. I personally have not looked into this as much, but that is something that I hope to look into more. As I am aware, the current machines that are installed charge 10 cents per tampon for people who want to utilize them. The difference of 10 cents per tampon to offering them for free is not a massive difference. However, it is a difference of receiving compensation versus not receiving compensation. And in addition to that, I am more concerned about costs of installing machines if we wanted to go that route. So we've been seeking other options than installing machines to distribute these tampons and pads. Additionally, I have some other things that are unrelated to my projects that I've been up to. Tabled earlier today. It was very successful. Got a lot of people who were very interested in student government. That was awesome. Shout out to Senator Huzaifa who tabled with me. Went very well. I want to look into tabling one more time before the end of the semester. If anyone is interested in tabling along with me, I will be able to give out some more specific times later, but I'm currently looking at the date of December 1st, if that is possible. I do realize that as this is getting close to the end of the year, this could be a stressful time with various projects and stuff. Completely understandable. If people are interested in tabling, reach out to me. Elections Commission. I do the vacancy election stuff. It's wonderful. So far, efforts have been fairly successful. Shout out to the vacancy candidate that we have today, Kev Spear. Amazing. We love to see it. I also do PR and marketing for student government. I have been working to cooperate with the SAC team to do more of the student government partnered with SAC events. I hope to continue to do those in the future. Scotty is wonderful, as is the SAC team. Love them. Hope to cooperate more with them in the future. And I've also been in talks with Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion about potentially doing some events with them coming up next semester, as this semester is very short notice to fill out some things. I will give more information about that as that comes up. Also, I run our Instagram and TikTok. Follow us. Follow us. It is MNSU Student Government on both of them. Very good. We also have a Facebook. Follow that one as well. MNSU Student Government. The Instagram and TikToks have been very successful so far this semester. We are planning on filming a bunch of TikToks Monday, 2 to 3 p.m. at the Student Government office with my PR and marketing team. Open to everybody if other people want to come and be in TikToks. It's very fun. We're going to spend an hour just making TikToks. It's going to be a blast. People should come. Additionally, I received MavLife training from the IT office to be able to run our student government MavLife. I have gotten into that, got all that training, good to go. I have not been utilizing it strongly so far, as we have not had a whole lot of stuff that requires to be announced over MavLife. So for the time being, I've been using it to communicate with people that describe that they have had an issue with something and posted it on MavLife. So I've been using that to connect with individuals about potentially helping them solve problems. That is my update.
Awesome, thank you. Do I have a question from Vice President Sorso?
I do. I actually was wondering if you could take one more thing on and if you would have space for that. And I was also wondering, with the speaker's permission, I would encourage you to use your 10 office hours for the next segment to sleep. So
no.
I think that would count.
Let's talk about that. Let's go to my office after the meeting. Do I have any more, Senator Carlson?
One thing we did just talk about in our committee meetings about, you said the most expensive thing for the pre-feminine products would probably be the purchase of a new equipment for it. And there is actually a way that you can rig them so that you don't have to pay. It just turns whenever you need. And then it also takes away, because one of the concerns were, okay, well, what if people just grab a bunch and take them all for themselves? Well, if you have to keep turning it and get one every single time, I think that would kind of push people away from that as well. So just a thought, so you don't have to buy all new machines.
Yes, what I was referring to is the installation of new machines in locations where they do not currently have them.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
So I understand that we were able to change up the currently existing machines. I would also like to say that is an estimate that I'm making at this time without having an exact budget at the moment of what these things may cost.
Yeah. Perfect. Senator Hashimoto?
Yeah, relating to that feminine product, I just wonder if there are any, for example, local nonprofit or private board which are really interested in advocating around that, because they are sometimes really interested in reaching out to more and more community, which if they're interested in our student population and would like to spread the activism here, and if we can actually pursue the same goal, probably there'll be an option to get some fund-wise collaboration or whatever, some free product from them.
That would be wonderful. I would love to cooperate with other groups like Planned Parenthood, and I hope to communicate as well with the other individuals that are working on the project. I didn't mention it, but we were just talking about setting up a time for all four of us to meet and get together about that.
All right, President Stitt?
I just want to say thank you for everything you're doing so far, Joy. You have really been like a savior this year for election stuff, like marketing stuff. So thank you so much. As Karen mentioned, we'll probably ask you to do more. So like thank you for that. That's all.
I got you, homie. I'm just doing my job.
We won't do that. We'll try not.
Senator Saha?
Talk to RAN. So like it's a rural action network. So like they actually go to different communities across Minnesota. They also have a location in Mankato, and they do provide STD, feminine hygiene products and stuff like that. So like they might be able to help you. They do get grant money, so.
Thank you. Senator Hawk?
So speaking of one of the organizations, I had actually found them out. They will give it to us, but it will not be a long-term one. At that point, even if we get it for a year, we will need to find a solution for it in the long run. Sorry, I'm just getting a little gibberish. But yes, we can find organizations. I reached out to a few of them got back, but they will need the entire amount of money that we will be needing, the amount of products we will be needing at the same time, but they will not be for a long run. Just a heads up for everyone that's here.
Senator Hawk, you are amazing, and I love you. Thank you.
Awesome. Do I have any further questions? Any further questions? Well, at the end, very impressive report, Joey. I will totally take into consideration giving you office hours for taking a nap or sleeping, but very impressive. Moving on to our next senator report, I have Senator Staha.
He does everything. He's in everything.
Really, Joey?
Oh, sorry, I made it too high.
I guess that works, kind
You got this. We believe in you.
Sorry.
How to back that up, huh? That's an impressive report. Okay, so like people know, like I have been working on a couple of different stuff. One was like with the mental health thing that I was trying to set up a hub regarding that. I'm waiting for more information regarding the community setup for the hub in general that we are thinking of as a student resource and going from there and thinking of implementing that. The other project I was talking about the other time about like, you know, the off-campus housing and like the rules and regulations for like, you know, what the rights are for tenants and what the rights are for landlords. This is a good handbook of landlords and tenants' rights and responsibilities from Minnesota Attorney General. So what my goal is to deconstruct it and like make it more of like, you know, something that's like easy access to students and which can provide them resources. Like I have been told that John will be a great resource about it. I don't know if John has a lot of free time, but like, you know, if he has, I will try to work with him on that and like have more like pamphlets and stuff like that. Also have it on our website on which we are working on, which I got nominated for that committee. So like we'll be working on that website and go from there. If you have any questions, I'll stand for it.
Thank you. Do I have any questions for Senator Staha? Any questions? Any questions? There's no questions. Thank you, Senator Staha. Moving on to our next senator report of the day, I have Senator Osman, and I believe she is over Zoom.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Madam Speaker. So my name is Zahara, and I am one of the LR senator. I'm going to start off with a couple updates. I'm going to try to keep it short here. So the first thing is I serve on the Veteran Advisory Committee. My job is to advocate for veterans on any issue they're facing. One of the issues that was brought to my attention this semester was that there's a staff that is in charge of processing those veterans paperwork. And then those paperwork got to be processed first in order for their tuition to get paid for and also for them to get a monthly stipend. So the complaint was that this staff was not taking their job seriously. It took them forever to get back to students when they emailed them. And then also it took them forever to process those paperwork. When I emailed her and asking how many paper can she process per week, she said like 30, 35. And then 3 weeks later, when we followed up with her, we just found out that she only did 9, which is really ridiculous. So we got a complaint, and we sent that complaint to her supervisor, and I heard that did not go anywhere. And then last month, I believe it was last month, we met with Dr. David Jones, Mark Constantine, the director of student success, and a couple of the director, I don't really remember their title. And that meeting went really well. The students expressed their concern about that staff and how it's negatively impacting them. And then last week when I met with Tim Adam, who is the director of Veteran Resource Center, he told me that he wanted to say thank you, Dr. David Jones. Those students who complained got their paperwork processed within timely manner, so I was happy to hear that. So I'd like to say thank you, Dr. David Jones, as well. And then the second thing is, last week I was elected as the chair for SAC, and Senator Douglas was elected as the vice chair. For those who doesn't know, SAC stands for Student Allocation Committee. We're responsible for hearing and making a recommendation regarding RSO program and travel funding request. And if you guys didn't know, we have the best advisor, and his name is Mark Constantine. So we are a 5-member right now, where we can have up to 9 or 10. If you guys know any friends that are not senator looking to join this committee, send them to Rihanna's so she can appoint them. And then lastly, one of my current projects that I'm working on is we're trying to see if we can bring back enterprise car share that we had on campus before COVID. Because of COVID, they suspended that program. But what it was, we used to have 2 cars from Enterprise that was available on campus for rent. And you can either pay by the hour or by the day. I remember when I was freshman, I used it when my car broke down. You pay like a membership, which is like $60, valid for a whole year, and then you pay by the hour when you use the car, and it was pretty cheap. It was about $8, I believe. And it was pretty beneficial for students, international students. Well, you have to be 18 and plus, and they also accept international license. So we're trying to see if we can bring that back. I went up and went to the local office they have here in Mankato. I spoke with their manager, and I found out he wasn't the person who was doing these programs, and they sent me to the regional manager. I emailed him last week. Haven't heard back from him yet. And I met with John Polcock class yesterday. We found out that he also emailed them in August. He didn't hear back from them. I'm gonna follow up with them soon and see if I can, if we can continue with this. If I don't hear back from them, I will probably do my research and see if we can find another rental car company who can offer the same program that Enterprise had for us here on campus. And I'll keep you guys updated on my next report, and I'll stand for questions.
Thank you. Do I have any questions for Senator Osmond? Any questions? Any questions? All right, moving on to our sorry. Thank you so much for your report, Senator Osmond. As you all can see, I'm very much trying to make this meeting work in time. Last senator report of the day, Senator T. Schaefer.
I'll make mine go fast.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So my project is to try to get free Lyft or Uber passes for students here at Mankato. Duluth has a program like this. I met with their Associate Vice Chancellor of Student Life, Corbin Smythe. He's kind of like our John for our student government. He was really helpful. He showed me all the stats that they had. I won't go through them because then I will just make it really longer. And he showed me like the Lyft side on like what he can see, and he can see when they use them, how they use them, how many students use them a month. So that was super helpful. And then he showed me all the contracts that they came up with and all the paperwork, and sent me links for all of them so I could use them as a reference. So next I'm just gonna create a request for proposal and then send that out to like Uber and Lyft and see what they get back with.
Thank you. Senator Nowak?
Hey, last time you came in, we were kind of talking about concerns like what this would cost budget-wise. Did you happen to get information back as to how much this would cost the university?
So Duluth, they have a $40,000 budget for a year. And they actually had a program in 2006 that was like a taxi program, and that was their budget, so then they just like transferred that budget to the Lyft one. And so that was their budget because they said only like 20% of students use it. So then they didn't do a budget for all of their students, they just did the $40,000. and then they just put it in their contract that it caps off at 40,000. So if by chance like all the students used it September and October, then the program would just end for the year, which I thought was kind of obviously it sucks, but it's nice, then you wouldn't ever go over budget. But that was in their student service fees.
Thank you. Senator.
So do you plan on putting that under the student fees for our university as well, or how do you plan on like having the $40,000?
I'd have to meet with some more people because I don't know where we'd get the funding from because they already had theirs like from 2006, so they've had funding already for this program, but maybe we have some extra fund. And obviously we also have more students than Duluth does too, which would raise our budget a bit more than theirs, I would say. But I'd have to do more research on that.
Thank you. Do I have any further questions? Moving on, actually, thank you so much for moving on to our vacancies, I'm going to quickly announce all the vacancies we have, and then I believe we have one candidate. So for today, we have an off-campus senator, allied health and nursing senator, College of Education senator, arts and humanities senator, and another new position that I'm announcing today as of November 17th, senator at large. So for today, as I believe all of you guys have received a candidate guide, we have an off-campus senator candidate, Cab Spears. You can come on in and we can go over how this will work. So you will start with a 2-minute opening statement, in which time you can take the time to talk about why you are interested in student government and what kind of projects you will be working on. Then I will open the floor for questions where all the senators will have an opportunity to ask you questions. After that, you will have 1-minute closing statement in which you can talk about why the Senate should vote for you. After your 1-minute closing statement, I will open the floor for discussions, at which point I will request you to stand outside or just hang around outside of the chamber. We will discuss and vote, and after I have the results, I will request you to come back in.
Sounds good.
To announce that. Does that all make sense?
Yep.
All right, we can get started with your 2-minute opening statement.
All right, so I'm just going to start by talking about myself. My name is Kev Spear. This is my 3rd year at MSU. I am majoring in political science and minoring in sociology. I've had an interest in student government pretty much since I started here at the school. But shortly after, we obviously had COVID, and basically I've been seeing, I'm trying to get more involved in the community, and even though this is kind of late, next week obviously we have Thanksgiving and then finals. I think it's better than ever to get involved, and I want to obviously help my constituency, being off campus. Some of my main concerns are the cost of living and the cost of school. Sitting here in the last hour or so, I've already heard you guys talk about these things, cost of textbooks, and then obviously food insecurity and things such as that. And I've known many people who have been in those situations, and it's definitely very concerning. I'm on the students event team, so we were talking about compensating students for their time. I know the officials there, that's definitely a point of contention, that they feel like they're being cheated. And then we have the student workers who, as far as I know, all of them make $10 an hour, which I don't care how easy a job is, they should be paid more than that, in my opinion. I also feel that we need to get a better website for the school. I feel like ours is kind of lacking in terms of getting the appropriate links for people to find our services and find out more about the school and our organizations. So that's kind of the general idea and the reason I want to be here. So I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Perfect timing. 1 minute and 58 seconds.
Nice.
I will open the floor for questions, starting with Senator Hawk.
So my question is, and your third point that you had mentioned, the $15 regardless of where they live. So increasing that amount, it's like more of a question and a comment both. How do you think, as a comment, it would be that $15 an hour would increase the budget of every single department that's there on campus, and that would resultingly increase our student fees, including the amount we have right now is $528. It's going to be increased, as well as the tuition might increase because of some of the departments will need an extra budget. How do you plan on doing that? If that goes that way, which will also mean that a lot of departments will have shorter of staff, meaning less students will be employed, resulting in more food. Like if the budget wants to stay the same for a department, but we increase the wage to $15, that means they can have less students, if that makes more sense.
Right. Well, I'd like to raise the budget for all these departments, and obviously this will increase the costs of other fees, and that's the complicated thing about this. But, we think every day we're relying on these people for services, these student workers, and I just think it's, we're cheating them by not paying them appropriately. And maybe there's a conversation that it shouldn't be 15, maybe it can be less, but I think it needs to be raised regardless. And hopefully by raising the budget, they won't have to fire anybody. And it's complicated, and that's why I want to be here and work with you guys and find out good solutions.
Thank you. Senator Carlson?
I just want to say I agree with you on the website. There's been a lot of links as I've scrolled through it that bring you absolutely nowhere sometimes. Exactly. So definitely I think that's an awesome initiative if you decide to take that on. But I do have to ask the question that is always asked, what are your biggest strengths and weaknesses? I figured I'd give it to you this time.
I heard that was the most popular question.
Yes, this is a traditional question.
Yep. I think some of my biggest weaknesses, mathematics is one, for sure. But second, I'm a quiet person, so standing up here in front of all you is difficult for me. And obviously, meeting with off-campus students and other students, it's always difficult, but I think it's important to do what's right and actually get involved and try to help people. So I just got to work through it. But for strengths, I think my biggest strength is I'm empathetic. So the reason I want to pay people more and things such as that is because I care about their happiness and their quality of life. I don't want people to be poor, and I think we should value life more than money at all costs. So.
Thank you. Senator Saha?
Like a couple of compliments, like stepping out of your comfort zone to stand up here and speak with us. And the second thing I wanted to say before I go to my question is I agree we shouldn't be paying poverty wages to students when they're putting in their labor for serving us, whether it's in service industry downstairs or any other places that students are working, and they should be provided with enough decent wages so that they can pay their rent and have food on the table. Moving on to the question, if you wanted to work on a single project over next semester, what would that be?
I think it's definitely the website you brought up, taking that on. That was kind of my original reason for wanting to join here, but living off campus, realizing how expensive things can be for people in our age group, that would definitely be the second then. But yeah, I think the website's number one at the moment, just making sure people can easily access the services we do provide already. So.
I got a follow-up real quick?
Yes.
If elected, I would recommend you to joining the off-campus housing website committee as well. That would be a great resource for you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Do I have any last questions? Any questions? Any questions? All right. Since we do not have any further questions, we are gonna do your 1 minute finishing statement.
All right. So yeah, I've got a lot to learn about this body and the things we do. But I feel that if you guys vote me in and work with me and help me understand things, hopefully my ideas and my will to help people will just, improve the lives of people on this campus and off campus, of course. So I just want to thank you, and thank you, Joey, for introducing me to this. So yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. So at this point, I would like to request you to step out of the chamber, but you can hang out here. There's some sitting, and then I'll come grab you. And then I would like to request ID Solutions to mute the recording and not stop it.
Like even if it's an hour meeting.
Can I request ID Solutions to stop the mute thing and make sure we're going? Recording is going right. Awesome. All right. So we have had an election. Congratulations to our newly elected senators.
Thank you.
I would like to request you to take a stand. So we're going to swear you in.
Okay.
How this will work is I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
Keb Spear,
Will represent and serve
will represent and serve
the students of Minnesota State University, Mankato,
the students of Minnesota State University, Mankato,
in student life
in student life
and academic needs, and will uphold the mission, Constitution, and bylaws of student government. I so affirm.
I so confirm.
I so affirm.
Oh, I so affirm. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's get started with the rest of our business stuff. So for new business, I do not have any new business. For old business, I do not have any old business. For announcements, do I have anyone for announcements? Senator Timothy. Sure. Do I have anybody else for announcements? Senator Nowak.
All right. Hold on. Howdy, friends. So do you remember before when I mentioned that we are potentially partnering with Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion? I actually have a handout that I was going to give out during my senator update, but didn't get out of my backpack in time. So I don't know if I quite have enough for the entire Senate, but I do have this talking about some diversity, equity, and inclusion events coming up next semester that I hope to be able to participate with. And while I have these ahead of time, I figure I might as well send them around ahead of time. So I'll send some in both directions. There's not a whole lot of them. Yeah.
Thank you. Senator Chimsey.
Hello everyone. So on next week, Monday, November 22nd, the IBO, International Business Organization, will be having a meeting. And we're going to have little guest speakers who goes by John Russia. It'll be nice for everyone to show up and just come and hear what he has to say. It's at Morris Hall, 210. It starts at 5 p.m. Thank you.
Senator Saha?
It's more of a comment. I don't know if it's an announcement. Like, we should do a Secret Santa for all the senators and the execs. I think it would be a fun experience for most of us.
I second that. All right. Do I have any more announcements? Is that John?
It is.
Yes, John.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just a few things. You're the home stretch for the semester, so hang in there. I know academic loads are getting a little bit crazy for everybody, and you've hit that point in the semester where you're likely ready for a break that you're going to get next week and that kind of stuff. So hang in there. We've got one more meeting left in the semester, so be prepared for that. So just a couple of things. A student events team is hosting a poetry night tomorrow night, 8 p.m. in Ostrander Auditorium. Neil Hilburn, a renowned poet, will be here to perform, and then we also have, I believe, 4 students who are performing original works as well as part of the event. So, low-key event. I believe it might be the last event of the semester, honestly, for that group. So there's not much. We're winding things down a little bit, as I mentioned. So. please come out to that if you're interested. Also, a little bit of a commercial for the CSU student activities. As is tradition, I guess we're resuming a tradition because it didn't happen last year. The Monday night of finals week, which happens to be December 6th, we will host the late night finals week late night breakfast in the student union. That will start at 10 p.m. Down on the main floor, right around the Mav Ave area. So come out and bring folks with you. There's more than enough food. There's also you'll see the marketing come out. There's going to be a contest with prizes for those who can enter. You have to enter before the event begins to guess the number of waffles we go through that night. So the person who comes the closest will win prizes for that as well. So and also I'm told that there was an email that came out during this meeting. This is a little bit of a sad announcement for the university. I don't know if it's gone out as an all-student email. It came out to staff today, but today, early this morning, President Emerita Margaret Pesca has passed away. And so that came out. So please keep the family of Dr. Pesca in your thoughts as we go through the process of commemorating her and her contributions to the university. So that's all.
Thank you. Do I have any questions for John? No questions. Do I have any last announcements? Mark?
Therapy Dogs tonight, 6:45 down at Heritage Room. If anybody wants to join, it'll be going on from 6:45 to 8:15. So partake if you'd like to. And the Student Union Board, we had our first meeting of the semester today. So just want to let people know. Just sort of laid out what the mission of the group is. Sort of getting prepped for starting our budget season with them as well. So. We had 4 members, is what we have right now. We are willing to take a couple more if there's anybody else that wants to join us. So we're glad that's up and running. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Any last announcements? Any last announcements? Any announcements? All right. Last item on my agenda is roll call, so let's get done with that real quick. Senator Swanton?
Here.
Senator Bassett? Here. Senator Hashimoto?
Here.
Senator Chimothy? Here. Senator Carlson? Here. Senator Roberts?
Here.
Senator Amy Denby?
Here.
Senator D. Schaefer?
Here.
Senator Hawk?
Here.
Senator Basha? Senator Hinson?
Here.
Senator Baruchuri?
Here.
Do I say that right?
Paruchuri.
Baruchuri? Okay. Senator Osmond? Senator Osmond?
Here.
Senator Saha?
Here.
Senator Roger Gopal?
Here.
Senator Kuku? Senator Goku? Senator Wen?
Here.
Senator Uzepa?
Here.
Senator Wing?
Here.
Senator Pina? Senator Nowak?
Howdy.
Senator Flynn? Senator Hopwood?
Here.
Senator Hussain? Here. Senator Reuter? President Stiff? Here. Vice President Somerso? Here. Speaker Khan? Here. All right, so I officially adjourn this meeting at, hold on guys, we haven't adjourned the meeting, at 5:33 p.m.
Recording stopped.
Okay. Hey, gang. Whoever wants to be in a TikTok, stick around right here. Over here. All right.
Are you in on the marriage thing?
Yes. I have no idea what that is.
They're married. They're married.
Not really yet right now. We don't want to okay.
That's what you are.